girl, on today's show, we're talking about the power of pre-decision and deciding before we're ready to decide. You're gonna want to listen into this one, friend, because recovery can be confusing and healing from years of unhealthy behaviors with food, it can be really, really tough. But if you pre-decide, if you make a choice today to decide before you need to decide, I promise you're gonna be one step ahead of the recovery journey. Listen into this one and share it with a friend. Here we go. Hey girl, welcome to the Her Best Self podcast. I'm Lindsay Nickel, former competitive figure skater and perfectionist, turned God-led imperfect boy mom and digital CEO. If you find yourself constantly thinking about food and wondering if you'll wake up one day free from the obsessive thoughts and behaviors controlling your life, then I've created this podcast for you. Because I know exactly what it's like to be a downright hot mess, trapped in a destructive cycle of disordered eating. I finally found freedom, and you can too, girlfriend. So if you're ready to heal your relationship with food and body and break the chains of control and show up in your best health, then grab your favorite Tarjay journal and let's get to it. So you can start living your best life as your best self. All right, sis, today we were talking about the power of pre-deciding and how you can start making better decisions right now when it comes to your recovery journey and healing your unhealthy relationship with food and finding true freedom over your life. So over the weekend, I was going to a winery event with some girls, and I knew that I was gonna spend way too much time trying to figure out what I was gonna wear to this event. Partly because I work from home, I'm constantly sitting around in the comfies, and partly because I hadn't seen my friends in a really long time, and I wanted to feel amazing, I wanted to dress up, and I made a choice. I made a decision. I said, you know what? I'm gonna be late because doing the same thing, expecting different results, if Lindsay's always putting on 10 different things to wear right before we're about to leave the house, then that is going to end up in being late. And that has been a constant theme over the course of my life. I made a decision to pre-decide. I decided I'm just gonna wear all black. I'm gonna put it together. I'm gonna put it on top of my dresser, and I'm just gonna rock that. There's no more outfit changes. It's just, I'm wearing this is what I'm doing, and I'm gonna go. That decision saved my morning, and it saved me from being super late. It saved me from being in a bad mood, and it saved me from copious amounts of energy drained and making me feel like I didn't like who I was and what I was wearing, or made me feel less than confident or not enough, or all of those things. I want to talk about this because it was one less decision I had to make. And that gave myself freedom, not only to feel more productive, not only to feel more confident, but freedom to actually be in the experience and decide other things that mattered more. You see, your decisions determine your destiny. And to pre-decide is literally to have intentional implementation. It's deciding how you're gonna show up, deciding how you're gonna respond, deciding how you're gonna approach something, deciding who you're gonna be in a situation before that situation or circumstance occurs in your life. And pre-decision is so powerful because you're literally pre-deciding to change before you're feeling like changing. The power of pre-decision is making a choice way in advance and following through with that choice. In recovery, confusion is the root of all evil. Need I say it again? Because I know you already know. But if your eating disorder brain can confuse you, then she can leave you trapped. Am I eating too much? Am I eating not enough? Am I eating too early? Am I eating at all? Am I eating too late? Then you are gonna sit there in that freeze. This often leaves us making no decision at all. But you have options, girl. You can pre-decide. When you decide in advance, you can limit confusion in your mind, and you actually give yourself peace of mind because your mind just wants certainty. Your mind wants comfort and it wants safety, and it needs it in that time of chaos. So going back to my outfit decision, pre-decision, I was sitting there and I thought, I don't know if I should wear all this. I mean, it is all black and I'm going to a fun wine event and maybe I should wear pink, or maybe I should. In the moment, my mind was going 1,000 directions. Kind of like that eating disorder brain telling you that you don't need this or you shouldn't have that. And in that moment, I resorted to, I already decided. You already decided. There's no negotiations. The decision has been set, it is made, it is done, and you are moving forward. Sis, according to researchers, you make as many as 35,000 decisions every single day. Those with disordered eating patterns and behaviors, well, I'm sure you're making 10,000 more. But many of those are keeping you chained and trapped because you're deciding in fear versus deciding in faith. Fear is a reaction, but courage is a decision. It's the courage to show up for you and where you're headed. The quality of your decisions is the quality of your life. And if you feel like you are making poor decisions against your recovery, your healing, and you feel like you're on this hamster wheel where you keep doing the same thing, then it's time to up the ante on what it is you're deciding. And in order to do that, we have to pre-decide. So how do you change the quality of your decisions? Well, did you know that allowing your brain to conserve its energy by pre-deciding actually allows for better quality decisions for when you have to make those big ones? Pre-deciding, it leads to better time management, it leads to less stress, less anxiety, and you actually feel more in control. In addition to using less brain capacity while you're in the moment, right? Staring at the label in the grocery store, sitting, trying to figure out what you're going to eat next, or if you're allowed to eat it. Instead of waiting in that moment, pre-deciding allows you to accumulate a record of wins while also reinforcing the importance of why you want recovery in the first place. It helps you automate your action, especially when that voice inside of your mind keeps it in hijack mode. If you feel like you're constantly not doing the action, or there's this lack, there's this gap of actually doing the thing, even though you feel like you know what you need to do, yet you don't apply it, you have to start with automating the action and simplifying the process and pre-deciding. So for example, if you know that you have anxiety around eating with others, pre-decide to not select the lowest calorie item on the menu. Pre-decide not to look at the menu. Pre-decide to have your spouse choose for you at the restaurant. Pre-decide, sis. It's funny how our mind, we feel like if I keep my options open, then I can actually make a better decision. I'll actually make a better choice if I have other options. But the truth is, when you allow your mind to have so many options, it gets an analysis paralysis. It gets in that place of, oh my gosh, what do I select? I used to do this with Hallmark cards. I actually used to sit inside the card store and stare at like 30 different cards, and it took me like 45 minutes to pick out the perfect card for a family member. It had to stop. I had to pre-decide. Okay, maybe it's not the first card I select, but after 10 minutes, I am out of here and I'm gonna pick the best choice. How about those decisions that you're putting off because they feel hard? Maybe some of those decisions are putting your needs first, investing in your recovery with a coach like myself, investing in a therapist, investing in time to heal. What decisions are you putting off because they feel hard to choose or make a choice around? Can you decide to decide? See, pre-deciding, it prevents you from bargaining with your eating disorder. There's no bargaining in the moment of what snack to eat when you've pre-decided your snack. Pre-decision, it actually increases your confidence. And when you follow through with what you've already decided to do, what you've already committed to do, you feel proud about you. You feel proud, you feel empowered. You feel ready to conquer it again and again and again. So, for example, you can pre-decide to allow your body rest days. You can pre-decide to accept the invitation of a family member when they invite you over for a get-together. You can pre-decide to have the piece of birthday cake at your kiddo's 6th birthday party next week. Stop compromising and start committing. And in order to commit, you have to make the choice to do long before the feeling of wanting to do. So when you pre-decide, you are giving yourself clarity in the decision-making process. It is so powerful because in that moment under stress, in that moment under anxiety, in that moment where you are trying to make the best right choice, but you have a tendency to fall back to unhealthy coping mechanisms and behaviors that are keeping you here, 9 times out of 10, you aren't going to make the best choice. You're stressed and you're triggered. But if you pre-decide, you're no longer compromising. You've made a decision from a clear space in your mind. Stop allowing your emotions to define your outcomes. The process of pre-deciding goes like this. I want you to identify your triggers or your weak areas. Where are the blind spots right now along your path? I want you to write them down. What feels super heavy, super hard when something happens? You want to do this, but you always do that instead. I want you to identify those items, those things. Make a list of those things. And then I want you to decide what you're going to do in that moment. This is what we call the battle plan. Decide when this happens, when this trigger arises, then I'm going to do this. Keep it simple. Try on the simple statement. Because I want blank, because I want freedom, because I want recovery, because I want to find a life that is not trapped by disordered eating, because I want to live and be a great mom and a great wife, because I'm tired of doing it like this, because I'm sick of being sick, because I want blank. If blank happens, if this thing happens, I'm going to blank. Because I want recovery, because I want freedom, because I want to create the best version of me, if I find that I am triggered around making lunch for myself and unsure of what I'm going to make, then I'm going to go to the fridge, I'm going to select my pre-made sandwich, get my crackers, have a banana or an apple, and go on about my day. That's just a really high-level example, right? But it gives you an example of actually doing the action. When you're sitting there with the fridge wide open, are you going to make that sandwich? When you're sitting there and you tend to go to restriction or you tend to go to overeating, whatever that looks like in your world right now, you will likely decide wrong if you do not pre-decide. It's part of the process. So I want you to identify your weak areas, your blind spots, get them out. What are those triggering things? Maybe it's a person in your life. When you're eating around this person, you tend to do this, or when you are eating this time of day, you tend to withhold. Like, what is it? Then I want you to decide in advance exactly what you're going to do before that situation arises for you. And if you're confused with this, of what to pre-decide, ask this. The person that I want to be in 6 months or a year from now, what is she deciding? What is she deciding? Is she deciding to skip the meal? Is she deciding to exercise for an extra 30 minutes? Probably not, right? When you want freedom because you're sick and tired of being here, you have to choose differently. And that requires making a choice that's not based upon feelings, but is based upon facts and faith. So I want you to try it on this week. I want you to stop allowing your emotions to define your life. I want you to stop allowing your feelings to keep you from freedom. What's one thing that you can decide right now for your week ahead? Sis, I'm going to leave you with that question. I would love for you to come on out to our private Facebook community, herbestselfsociety.com, and I want to hear what your decision is that you're pre-deciding. Also, my favorite pastor, Craig Groeschel, he's actually getting ready to launch a book on this exact topic. It's called Think Ahead. I can't wait to dive into his brilliance of this. It's all about pre-deciding. The quality of your life is based upon the quality of your decision making. And it's time to stop sitting on the sidelines, expecting different outcomes. It's time to get in the game and decide that you are worthy enough to play it. If you're looking to invest in yourself, in your recovery, and in the person that you're becoming and want to be, please go on out to lindsaynickel.com. You can fill out a coaching application right there on the website, and we can set up time to chat about how I have helped other women just like you find freedom from an eating disorder and their disordered relationship with food. And I'd love to help support you along the way. Go out and decide that this week is going to be one of your best yet. All right, girlfriend, I'll talk to you real soon. Bye for now. Oh, friend, thank you so much for letting me share what was on my heart today. My hope for this podcast is to help more women find freedom from food and body. If this has empowered or blessed you, let me know. I'd be honored for your rating and review of my show, and I'd love to connect with you in my private Facebook community. You really can move from perfection to purpose. Let's break the chains together. I'll help navigate the way. Until next time, bye for now, girl.